There has been so many moments that we have followed the sound of that bell that has led us deep into our heart, into the place where we can deeply listen. And this is the place where we recognize and we remember the one truth, that there is only one God, one truth, one love. I am that love, that truth. We are that love and that truth. We are one with God. In the presence of this moment, that's all that exists. And as we allow ourselves to be nurtured and inspired this day by words of inspiration from Reverend Bob and Reverend Judith, we delight in waking up to a greater understanding so that we present ourselves throughout the holidays with this love, with this peace, with this joy in our hearts shining brightly, and people are touched by recognizing what dwells within each one of us is what is in with them. So I give thanks for this opportunity to stand here in the presence of one and to know this truth and to declare this truth. And each one of us join together in saying, "Thank you, God," and so it is. So as I stumbled through that, I want you to pick out where was I bobbling? Because I caught myself, and then I remembered I'm not going to hesitate here. I'm just going to keep on going, because the perfection of God is all that there is, and that's what we're going to hear about today. So thank you, and come on forward, Judith, and share with us the perfection as you see it. Thank you.
Aren't you enjoying this holiday season? I'm glad it's cold. You know, it just seems so much more like Christmas when it's really cold like this and you have to put on coats and gloves. When I was a kid, about 10 years old, I lived in Venezuela, and it was about 70 degrees all year round. And we had no Christmas trees. Because it was like a desert that went right to the ocean where I lived. So we had cacti in front, big like saguaro cacti. So we decorated it with crepe paper. And those were our Christmas trees. So I'm so excited, really, to have the cold weather and all the beautiful natural Christmas trees here. It just helps us get into the season. So, the perfection of God. You know, Jesus said to his disciples, "Be therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect." And there's been some thought about that, like, but we can't be perfect. We're only human, you know. And some people have said, I don't like that. Not sure that was translated right, you know, because we just can't be perfect as human beings. But I don't think that's what he was talking about at all. I think he was talking about get yourself into the Christ consciousness, which is perfect. You know, that's the consciousness of God, which is perfect. And we can have glimpses of that, can't we? We can experience moments of that, and then that carries through into our daily experience and makes us more perfect. And so our goal, and the goal of most people attending here, is how to bring more of that into their lives, how to experience more of it, because it is ecstatic when we learn through spiritual practices, through meditation, to experience that Christ consciousness. The 12th century mystic, Meister Eckhart, had this to say, and by the way, he was very controversial. The Catholic Church would have, they had him in mind for the Inquisition, to bring him in for heresy, but he had the good grace to die before they could get there. And he was called Meister because he was in charge of universities all over the German area. But this is what he said. He said, "There's only one birth. And this birth takes place in the being and the ground and the core of the soul. Not only is the Son of the heavenly Creator born in this darkness, but you too are born there as a child of the same heavenly Creator and none other. And the Creator extends the same power to you out of the divine maternity bed, located in the Godhead, to eternally give birth. The fruitful person gives birth out of the very same foundation from which the Creator begets the eternal Word. I think he was the first religious scientist, don't you? I mean, is that not what we teach? So he's saying, this God in man, which is the definition of the Christ that we use, it means God in man. The actual word Christos was a Greek word that meant the anointed one. But when we use it in our teaching, we're referring to the divinity within all of us. And we do believe that Jesus was more aware of his connection and his sonship with God, and used it more fully than perhaps any of us have since. But we don't believe he was the only one who had it. He would say, the Father and I are one. And he was said, it is not I, but the Father within that doeth the works. But he also said, greater things than these shall ye do. So he tried to wake us up to the fact that this divinity exists within each one of us as well. But people were very slow to wake up to that. I'm not sure they really got it, or if they did, by 300 years later, when they codified Christianity, it was certainly far lost by then. So Ernest Holmes says something very similar. He said, the Son, with a capital S, is born at every season, in every place, through all nations and all races. Every birth is a divine event. Every idea is an immaculate conception. We are all cradled in the heart of the universal mother, and we all come from one source, which is God. Every day we can say, unto us a son is born. Unto us a child is given, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Prince of Peace.